Day 54. See ya! Pretty leisurely start to the day today. Left Plovdiv at about midday after resupplying a little. And I'm about 2 days, 180k or so, out of EDIRNE in Turkey. Quite warm today, 10 degrees, double laid, no overshoes, no gloves. Really struggling to find a lunch spot for today. Nothing to lean the bike against, and there's just déchets, rubbish all over the side of the road. There were basically two possibilities to get down to Istanbul, and I must admit I chose the flatter direct route this time for three main reasons. The first is actually that the last few days of riding have actually been quite challenging. Very cold, hilly in places, headwinds, and actually a few easy miles, no bad thing at all. The second reason is that I worked out in the last 15 days, 7 of those I've been stationary, and so I'm really in the mood to just get going and get some progress under the belt in the right direction. And the third reason is that this morning I had a bit of a funny turn. My heart started beating very slowly, less than 30 beats a minute probably, and felt very, very faint. Lay down on the floor to avoid passing out and cracking my head on something, and 10-15 minutes later felt okay, but haven't been quite right ever since. So I've been spinning along very gently, just passed through quite a big town called Dimitrovgrad, and getting a few flashbacks to the Grangemouth days here and the commerce. Long time ago now, not for me. Day 54, and a foggy start this morning after a very pleasant camp last night, actually, in amongst sort of sparse wooded area. Very nice, and confident of reaching some warmer temperatures today. 17 degrees forecast in EDIRNE. Very exciting. Unfortunately, yesterday afternoon I was plagued by a bit of toothache, which seemed to come about after eating an orange at lunchtime, and it got progressively worse into the evening until paracetamol had to be popped. And this morning can still feel it, but I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem that's going to get worse for the remainder of the trip. Maybe seeking a dentist in Istanbul. Absolutely model cafe stop in Hamanli just now. Peeled off the main road, found the cafe very easily. Lovely little spot, open, light, keeping it on the bike, nice and warm inside. 3 levs for a cafe latte, use the facilities, top the water bottles up, back on my way. Absolutely ideal. Subpar picnicking. The last town before the border, Kapitan Andreevo. Sounds remarkably like Captain Andrew Reeve. Coincidence? Svilengrad. Not a chalky waffle, but a close second. Just stopped for a quick kebab in Svilengrad to use up a few of my lev coins so I didn't have to cart them around all as far as Istanbul. And got chatted to by this mad or drunk or both Bulgarian fellow, and it occurred to me that when you're travelling or in different places, you give these kind of people a lot more time than you would in your own country. I think part of me was hoping he'd be some eccentric Bulgarian genius with various nuggets of wisdom to dispense, but it was not so. Disarray at the border. I can't even find my way into Turkey. Welcome to Turkey, 11th country of the tour. And I was reflecting on the last 3 border crossings, Croatia, Serbia and Bulgaria, and they've been comparatively bleak, wet and cold. Whereas now I'm double layered, no gloves, no overshoes. Heading south, warming up. Well, I came into EDIRNE, the first big town in Turkey, about 20k from the border, and was going to head on, but found some quite impressive looking mosques and towering minarets and thought this might be worth a little bit more of an exploration. So I found this pension, which I thought sounded a little bit like pension, and investigated, and so it transpires. So for 200 Turkish lira, this is what you get for the night. Ensuite bathroom, starting to look a little bit more rustique, but more than adequate. Day 55. Not feeling particularly well this morning. Had a pretty poor night's sleep. It was 2 o'clock before I managed to nod off. It's 10 o'clock now, and I really don't want to stay put today, so I'm going to roll on and see how far I get to today. Decided to remain stationary today. Remarkably sensible decision actually, given that I'm very keen to get back on the road and get mile munching. But whenever I get up, I get a banging headache. So laying low for today. Might even think about going and getting a haircut later. It's getting a little bit untidy. Don't want the Turks to be thinking I'm a hobo. And hopefully catch the game later as well. And then 2 days to Istanbul. Back on the road tomorrow. We'll see, hopefully. Day 56. Just rolling out of EDIRNE after a day off. Yesterday, watched England get knocked out of, bloody hell, that's close, of the World Cup quarter-finals last night, so it was a little bit late to bed. Had intended on an early start this morning, alarm was set for 7:30, rolled out of bed at 10:30. So still fighting something, feeling pretty weak, and really not attached to any idea of covering any great distance. Looking a lot more aero than before EDIRNE. Had a visit to a Turkish barber, and so the watts are going to go that little bit further than before without the aerodynamic resistance. Well, the bad news is strong winds from the south today. I'm heading east-southeast, so sort of partly in my face. The good news is that for the first time since before Graz, I'm back in a t-shirt again. Had a double stop in Havsa. First for a Turkish coffee and then for a few biscuity goods. Back on the road, and the sun is out. Delightful. Still very windy. Just got some debris caught up in the rear mech here. Mechanical! I've just had about 8 or 9 big dogs come at me from the side of the road, barking and coming towards me, and I got the water bottle out, and of course the wind is blowing quite strongly from right to left, so I did a little more than to give myself a light shower. So I had to resort to some extremely loud, primal even shouting. I thought last year I gave my Nat 4s a good shouting to in school, but that was something else. If I'd unleashed that in the classroom, now then they would have shut up. Scenes from the terrace of Hotel Nini in a place called Babalulak or something like that. Short mileage today, and had a very nice conversation with a helpful man that didn't speak any English, but we managed to communicate. and he kindly bought me a little kofta wrap and some kind of salty milk. Bit weird, but very nice. And he directed me here where I checked in for 245 lira. Not bad. Well, it's day 57 today, and I'm just rolling out of Baba Ganoush. I'm really struggling to get out of bed in the morning at the moment, feeling pretty weak, and the voice has gone hoarse from the shouting at the dogs. And I've got about 200k bit over to get to Istanbul. Planned my route last night to come in from the north and down the Bosphorus, but if I can do that in 2 days, I'll be pretty happy. Just peeled off the main road at Luluburgas, and I've got some much more satisfactory tearing roads. Fending off another very aggressive looking dog just now, and have stopped for some crisps. Déchets everywhere in Turkey. Can't avoid it. This is the sort of thing you're faced with. If one of them kicks off, the rest of them do as well. Well, those chaps didn't bother me at all. Key is to just be very casual. Don't spin the legs too fast, because I think that kind of sets them off. Just roll through, super casual, play it cool, and everyone's happy. I'm continuously on the lookout for dogs now, and as much as it's a little bit stressful, I do kind of like the little adrenaline it gives you when you see 2 or 3 at the side of the road. It's kind of fun. 2 just came charging out of a gap in a fence about 100 metres behind me. They were a little bit slow off the mark, so I thought, put the hammer down, turned over my shoulder, coming at me full pace. I thought, no, I'll outrun them, and eventually they gave up. Oh my god, unquestionably short weather today, but sent them home, didn't I? Ah! Mercifully, today I've got a nice southwesterly wind pushing me along. Decent strength, 15 miles an hour, so the air is pretty much still around me as I proceed towards Istanbul. Descending to today's lunch spot, Saray. Getting on for 5 o'clock. It's been a decent stint on the bike, probably 100k under the wheels, and now I'm running out of watts. I was going to maybe pop the tent up, but I feel like the facilities of a town may be to my benefit in this time of relative disarray. Actually, I'm feeling pretty weak and ready to lie down in a dark room. I just paused in the centre of this village, and a chap drove up to me and invited me into a bit of a cafe for a cup of tea. Well, I say a cup, it's more like a shot of tea, and since has offered me this lovely little room to sleep in tonight, safely away from the dogs. Beast outside trying to get in the door. Glad to not be in the tentio tonight. Scenes.